right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all are having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. I've heard you guys loud and clear, and I've had to wait until there was 2 of these to react to. But I heard you guys all through the comments and in the member section and everything. Y'all want me to react to the last Michael Jordan NBC segment, and where he's talking about the GOAT, the GOAT conversation and all this. I've actually watched it, and I love what Jordan said, so I'm not going to pretend like I didn't watch it and I'm reacting to it for the first time, but I have watched it. So I have they're always so short. I don't want to do one video just for one segment, so I waited until we got 2. So the last 2 we got is one, him talking about Madison Square Garden, and then the next one about the GOAT debate, and I'm going to react to both of them back to back. So let's get to this, you guys. Anything else to say about the intro? I'm linking the original videos down below in the description. This is coming right off of NBA on NBC, so I'm probably going to get copyright claimed on this one. So shout out to members. There's a list of channel members down in the description box as well. And I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me back and keeping me afloat during these types of reactions. And I think that's all I have to say, guys. Like the video, save your hype on a video like this. Save it for something else, because I'm pretty sure, and I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure when a video gets demonetized, the hype button gets taken away. Not 100%, but I think that's how it works. Anyways, guys, let's do it. Like the vid, let's rock.
Jordan has won it. A spectacular hole. Jordan again. It is Michael Jordan time. Yes.
What we loved as fans when you played was the places and the buzz in the building. And there was nothing like Madison Square Garden when you played there.
Oh, wow.
So can you talk about what it's like for a star player to go into a place like that where everybody is waiting to see you be special?
Well, I've always considered Madison Square Garden the mecca of basketball, right? The knowledge of basketball, the way that people, perceive basketball. And they're hard workers. And the New York Knicks teams always seem to play hard for their fan base. And the fans knew it, too. And if they didn't, the fans let them know that, right?
But they also let you know it, too.
I go in there with the notion that I know it's not hostile. It's just, it's more of the awareness that they're going to cheer for the team. And they do everything to get you off of your game.
It wasn't hostile towards you?
No, it was never hostile towards me. It was more motivating and trying to get me off my game.
Right.
And look, once I'm in a game, the ball goes up, I never even hear the fans. If the fans ever can affect, or I can hear the fans, that means I'm not focused on what I should be doing, which is playing the game of basketball.
So you truly blocked it out?
I get into the game.
Wow, so he's the exact opposite of Luka Doncic, because Luka is constantly fighting with the fans.
My opponent becomes more the focal point. The fans are fans. Now, you get to a free throw line and you have a pause, and I see Spike over there. Hey, sit down. You're not playing. Those types of scenarios happen quite often, right? But in the mix of the game, when tension is always happening, that's when I get tunnel vision, right? What they're doing is trying to distract you. I take it as a challenge. You know what? I'm gonna keep you quiet for a while. I'm gonna show how all that stuff that you're saying doesn't affect what I'm doing on the basketball court. The only way you can affect what I'm doing is to put on some shorts and come out here, right? But that's my mentality. That's and as a leader, I got to make sure the team, Scottie Pippen and all these guys, don't fall prey to that.
So as the big player, as the star.
Real quick, New York fans, let me know if I'm right about this, because this is the impression I've always got off of New York Knicks fans, is when it's a home game in New York, you're going to do everything you possibly can, like Jordan said, to get your opponent off their game. You're going to bully them to the point of you're hoping that they're going to have a complete meltdown. However, when somebody like a Michael Jordan rises up to that challenge and torches the Knicks, regardless of all that, that's the moment of respect when you start applauding MJ, right? Because I've seen the crowd do it. And they're brutal the whole game until they know it's over and the performance is done, and then they applaud. They applaud the performance by a guy like Jordan. So it's tough, but I think it's one of those, like, it's hard to, you have to really earn your respect in New York. Let me know if my take is on the money or not.
Our guy would.
Hold on.
These guys don't fall prey to that,
So as the big player, as the star guy, would you consciously, if you were going into a hostile environment, make sure the other guys knew
100%.
we can shut them up?
Yes.
Right.
Take the crowd out right from the beginning.
Right.
Phil says it in his speech. Well, he playing in New York. Let's take the crowd out. Coming from Phil. I was a mouthpiece. Me and Scotty, we were a mouthpiece of Phil, in those situations. So we would go into New York City. I was never afraid of playing in New York City. Actually, it was a privilege because, if you do your job, you do the things that you're capable of doing, the New York fans are going to cheer you.
Yeah.
Over their own fans. So the challenge was, let's see if I can turn that guy over there in the fifth row. Instead of calling me names, he started cheering Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So what's your advice going into the
fan.
Gardeners, where it's going to be a different juice in the building, it's a big game for your team? What would you tell a star player about him?
Real quick, it's funny because a lot of people don't understand how I can be a fan of Giannis after what he did to my sons. But that's literally why I became a fan of his. He earned my respect by doing what he did.
Different juice in the building, it's a big game for your team. What would you tell a star player about handling that night?
Be you. Mm-hmm. Be you. You are you 365 days of the year.
Right.
What they're trying to get you to do is not be you.
Uh-huh.
And to me, that is a challenge for a young kid. But it's a privilege. It's an honor. If they're coming in and they're yelling at you, you are an impactful player.
Right.
That means if they feel like they can take you out of your game, then they have a better chance of winning. So if I'm talking to the young kids of today, is that, if you are an impactful player to your team, shut them up. Go out there and be you. If you be you, then they can't say anything. But if you're not you, they win.
Yeah. It's the same thing with trash talking, in my opinion. Exact same thing. That's why you trash talk in sports, is to test the mental capacity of your opponent. Because you got to find out, if I talk a little trash, is your emotions going to take over? Is your anger going to take over? And then if that happens, I win. You're now off your game. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing anymore. You're too busy thinking about, like kicking my ass instead of actually shutting me up on the basketball court. That's why I always like guys like Tim Duncan, who, like, no matter who's talking trash to him, he just stayed focused the entire time. Deadpan. Insanity. All right.
Hit subscribe for more news.
All right. Here's the one you guys have been really waiting for. Let's go.
Jordan has won it.
Growth of the game.
All right, let's do it.
I want to ask you about the international growth of the game.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of 2028 in the LA Olympics.
Yeah.
And the U.S. at home may have a tough time in basketball winning the gold medal based on the way the rest of the world, you're rolling your eyes at me.
Yeah, only because I think basketball is so strong in the United States. I think there's no way we should lose.
All right, but it's not back to 8.
There's no way we should lose, MJ, but we very well might.
Before.
No.
Not back to your teams, right? And that dominance.
It has evolved.
Okay. And watching those guys play for their national teams.
It's all huge.
It's great, right?
It's all huge.
That's basketball you probably love watching.
Yeah,
right?
that's very genuine. That is no money involved.
Yep.
It's pure passion
Right.
and dedication to the country as well as to the game.
Right. What has that Olympic experience done for you?
To me, it changed my name from Mike Jordan to Michael Jordan. Representing your country, feeling that energy of the United States in '84 and staying in the village, and understanding and spending time with all the other athletes and seeing their passion and their efforts.
You were in the village. That had to be so cool.
Absolutely.
The way
so
it's
cool.
evolved, it's obviously changed in times.
'92, we rented a whole hotel. We was away from everybody, had police escort back and forth to the events. I mean, it's a total different experience. I mean, if you had to ask me which one I enjoyed the most, is '84 by far.
That makes sense, too, because '84, he was under the radar. Not too many people, He had yet to play a single NBA game. So it was right after the Olympics, what he did out there, that he became known to everybody when it comes to the sport of basketball. But in 84, before he put on that Bulls jersey, yeah, man, he was probably able to just be an average Joe, one of the guys at the Village at the Olympics, and I can see why he would like that a lot better than 92, where, yeah, he was the biggest spectacle on Earth. He was the biggest star on the planet Earth at that point. Way too much attention to actually enjoy yourself, I would imagine.
One thing that's never changed with sports fans is the debate about the GOAT. Who's the greatest of all time? So it's rare that I get a chance
Hold
to
on, you see it in his eyes. He hates this conversation. He hates
the debate
it.
about the GOAT.
Look at it.
Who's the greatest of all time?
He's like, oh, shit, here we go again, man. Like, I love that he hates this conversation.
It's rare that I get a chance to sit down with one of the guys who's debated about to talk about the conversation of that term, the GOAT.
The whole GOAT term is never going to be something that I ever will get high or low about. It just doesn't exist with me.
That's the key takeaway for me. When I watched it, I rewound it and I watched it multiple times. That's the best way to ever put it. In other words, if people call him the GOAT, it doesn't mean much. If people call somebody else the GOAT, it doesn't mean much to him. He won't get too high. He won't get too low off of it. And I really appreciate that off him. That's true greatness, you guys. That's true security. Because, we got other guys like LeBron who are so insecure that they have to be telling people they're the GOAT. Like, complete opposite from Michael Jordan. MJ is like that big mammoth whale that's just like, he's just going to chill until he's provoked. Until then, he did everything he could on the basketball court. He doesn't need anyone else's approval. And I think that's a sign of true greatness. All right, I'm going to rewind it. And then I'm going to shut up, okay?
Term, the GOAT.
The whole GOAT term is never going to be something that I ever will get high or low about. It just doesn't exist with me. I never played against Oscar Robert or Jerry West. Would have loved to. Absolutely love to.
Yep.
Just as competitive as I am. And I actually learned from them. And we, paved the road to the Kobes and the LeBrons, right? And to me, it's the beauty of the game of basketball that a player, after a previous player, has evolved the game further. Mm-hmm. But don't then, in essence, this is the way I look at it, don't then now use that against the player that actually taught you the game or that you learned from.
Yep.
And that's why I have a tough time. And, look, I would love to have played against LeBron and, Kobe in my prime. I would love to have played, against those guys. But we'll never be able to know that. Part of the marketing, part of the hype, part of the things that tries to elevate one generation above the other,
right.
I think it creates animosity. I have no animosity against today's players, but you do have certain players that do have animosity because of the forgottenness of what their contribution has been to the game of basketball. Mm-hmm. It is what it is.
Yeah. And when even though I'm a fan of that, man, when he says things like he did, I think it was last year, where he was like, who was playing in the 90s? Just Michael Jordan, right? Everybody else sucked or whatever. He said something along those lines. And it was like, oh, man, don't say that. Like, you insulted a whole generation of basketball players, man. So I understand. Yeah, like Jordan said, there's got to be animosity going both directions. But why is the animosity coming from the young people to the old ones who actually paved the way? That's where I don't understand. Because I know a lot of the animosity from the old ones, it's coming because they're being disrespected by the young generation. And they're like, what the hell? We paved the way for you. But if there's respect going in both directions, all of this ends. But it keeps going. It keeps happening, man.
It is a empty comparison. Is it absolutely never find that the true answer to that question.
It's a circular conversation.
It's just
It is a circular
conversation. And I understand.
But it's great to talk about.
100% to talk about and envision. Look, I think LeBron has had an unbelievable career, and I admire him for what he's done. And Kobe as well as KD and all these guys who have played in this era. I think they've elevated the game of basketball tremendously. I just don't agree when you start, trying to put one above the other. It doesn't work. We'll never know. It creates more of a problem from, not for me. I've never given it credence. But, for other players who look for their existence within the generation of basketball, and we should always honor that. We should always preserve that. We should always, reward that they paved the road for a lot of generations after that. And by doing that, you somewhat, Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Bill Russell had 11
Russell.
championships. Yeah. How do you just push them in the corner and say, we ain't gonna think about you. We forgot about you. That to me is where I get lost.
What a stare afterwards, dude. Hold on, I'll let it switch. There you go. I love his take. I love his reaction. Every time he's ever been asked about this, even like 30 years ago, whenever he was asked about it, he's always stayed consistent with his response. And I think Michael Jordan values this in a different way, or he approaches this in a different way than most people do, and most of us fans do. It's something I just kind of noticed while I was watching this right now with you guys. And if you guys notice, Jordan, he doesn't care about the stats or the awards or any of that. He never brings any of that stuff up. To him, all that matters is who won on the basketball court when you faced up against each other. In other words, like, he can easily claim, like, I'm better than Drexler, I'm better than Barkley, I'm better than Malone, better than Stockton, I beat Magic, Bird, who will, we don't really get to know, but he's not saying like, oh, well, I scored 30 points a game off of 50% efficiency, so I'm better than Jerry West. No, to Jordan, if he didn't get a chance to go face to face on the hardwood and prove it, nothing else matters. So when he's talking about like, I never got to play Kobe when I was in my prime, he's right. He didn't. He was older. He was like 36 or whatever at that point. He never got to lace it up against LeBron because he retired right when LeBron he came in. So the only way for Jordan to end that debate would be to lace him up and play in real time. And he doesn't get to do that with a lot of people. Basically everybody other, all the other people that are on the possible GOAT list, you got him, you got Kobe, you got LeBron in there. I don't know why, but he's in there. And then you got like Magic and, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, these guys. Really, the only one he got to go head to head against was Bird and Magic. Outside of that, like, it's all a what if scenario. So I understand why he doesn't even want to waste time with the what if scenario, because in his head he's thinking, well, there's only one way to figure this out, and that's to play. But it's too late to play. That time has passed, so it's over. And I don't know if that's going to affect me and how I see the GOAT debate at all, but it might, because I do value how he sees this and why he's never taken it so serious. And that's why, because he always has talked about it for 30 years now. Whenever asked about the GOAT debate, he always mentions all the players that he never got to go head to head against. And he's always Jerry West, because Jerry West was that guy as a shooting guard before MJ. So he always brings up Jerry West, like they never got to go head to head. But then he always thanks him because he got taught from them, and he threw out like Oscar in there too, Kareem, he's like, these guys taught me. So there's a respect there. And because of that respect, he's like, he's not going to talk trash about him and say like, oh, I would have cooked Jabbar, blah, 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 or I would have cooked Russell, and that's where I wish we can get the new generation, because like it or not, everything that they're taught basketball-wise is coming from the previous generations. So I wish that they can get to that point where, like how Jordan has gotten, where you appreciate them for the lessons. Therefore, you respect them when it comes to these discussions. But we'll see. We're in a different generation where it's apparently really cool to be disrespectful. And I'm not a fan of it, but whatever. I don't feel like it's a good path forward for society. Anyways, you guys, that's my reaction to the Jordan segments. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait for the next one. I thought Jordan, give him a 10 out of 10 for how he responded to this. Very classy, very respectful, as always. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys watching this with me. And yeah, like the vid on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Have a wonderful rest of your night, you guys. Stay humble, stay respectful, you know, be good to your people, all that good stuff. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Be water, my friends.